we will be going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. It is currently 8 a.m. like normal. It is really warm and muggy out today. In fact, it's 63 degrees, and we have a high of 81 today. So, again, it's going to be warm, and it's muggy, humid out. I think we have another slight chance for tornadoes again today. So, be advised and be prepared for that. So, traffic conditions are currently pretty steady. It's flowing actually pretty well into Tulsa right now. There doesn't appear to be any real major congestion, even over there by 76th Street. No real issues over there. So if you haven't left yet and you're commuting into Tulsa, your commute should be pretty good. But as you guys know, again, I had mentioned tornadoes. We had some pretty good ones last night, didn't we? So it started out there near Skytook. Actually, it's in between Skytook Lake, Hominy and Skytook is where the tornado started. And it worked its way over to Barnsdall and then over to Bartlesville, and it did some pretty severe damage. Why don't you pull up that video first of the tornado going through, the video that my sister sent me of her friend from Skytooks who sent the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pull that up real quick for me if you would.
You got it.
But yeah, my sister sent me a video of the tornado that her friend sent her, and I clipped it and made it a little bit better, but it's nightmare inducing. So if I was driving and I saw that, I'd be about ready to soil myself. But yeah, it's a scary event last night. It was according to what meteorologists and storm chasers were saying, it looked like it was 1.5 miles wide, this tornado. So it's a pretty big monster we got. I'm wondering what they're going to classify it as. It's going to take a couple of days for them to figure out what exactly it turned into. But yeah, it doesn't have any video. But yeah, I mean, look at that. My goodness.
Yeah, you can only see it when the lightning strikes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And only for that split second, too. But yeah, play it one more time for me. Oh, goodness. Yeah, but that was in between Skytook and Hominy. It was right over there on Skytook Lake. And it worked its way up to Barnsdall and then to Bartlesville. So go ahead and pull up the damage pictures if you can.
They're already up.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, Barnsdall's a small town. So it got hit pretty hard. I know they had rescue teams working and pulling people out of rubble last night. And Bartlesville, believe it or not, I know this is going to sound crazy, Bartlesville really kind of lucked out. Not saying that they didn't get hit, which they did. They got hit. But the tornado merged with another storm front, which actually weakened it quite a bit before it hit Bartlesville. So it could have been way worse. Not saying it wasn't bad. I'm not saying it wasn't bad. It could have been worse, though, because it merged in with another storm front from the west, and it kind of absorbed it and took away a little bit of its strength. So, yeah. It was a long night, and I told you guys it would be yesterday. So I hope everyone was weather aware and had their plan in place. I know we kind of lucked out here in Owasso. We got missed by the vast majority of it. I was watching it, and just every time I looked at the radar, just slowly was moving northeast of us. So we just kind of lucked out. We got hit by the heavy winds and heavy rains, and that was about it for us. So I know my driveway is kind of it's not looking too hot. The water was raining so hard it's changed the path of the gravel, so I'm going to have to do some major work on overhauling my gravel driveway. So, with that being said, just always, again, take this time of year seriously, especially these severe weather events. I mean, that tornado was allegedly 1.5 miles wide. It's a good-sized tornado. If that goes through a urban area like Bartlesville, I mean, we're talking more casualties. I think we have at least 2 confirmed fatalities in this thing. So, our thoughts and prayers go out to those people in Barnsdall and Bartlesville. Hopefully you guys had good insurance and your houses are covered, and they'll probably declare a catastrophe, and, you guys will be rebuilding and back on your feet soon enough. So, good luck to y'all out there on your rebuilding efforts, and I hope the vast majority of you are safe and okay. So, pushing on from severe weather, and again, we looks like we're slated for some more potential severe weather tonight again. So, it's not supposed to be as bad because we were super high risk yesterday, super volatile atmosphere yesterday. But we are slated. We do have some chances of tornadoes again today, so just be prepared again if something were to happen tonight. Now, let's push on to more national news. We actually don't have a lot of news. I mean, everything in the news cycle is Israel, Palestine, Israel, Palestine, Israel, Palestine. You know, pro-Hamas protesters, pro-Israel protesters. You know, the only green light in all of this was the frat boys coming out and, you know, giving their 10 cents on all this, or giving their 2 cents and pushing back against these pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine protesters who just hate America. And what's interesting about all that is, you know, long gone are the days of people like MLK and those protests, you know. Long gone are those days where we'll stand even if we get pelted in the face with heavy water hoses, even if they sick dogs on us, even if we get stuff poured on us. We're going to stand here and stand up for what's right. Well, I mean, if a couple of college guys can just yell and sing the national anthem at you and you get sick of doing it and leave, you get sick of protesting and you leave, how committed were you to the cause? How committed are you to a free Palestine? Clearly you're not. Again, it's like what I told you yesterday. It's all artificial. It's all fake. It's all being funded by big Democrat donors and Qatar. That's what all this is about. That's what's happening here. So don't trust what the media says. Don't trust these grassroots. But none of this pro-Palestine stuff is grassroots at all. Now, let's get to what we really wanted to talk about today. We were going to talk about this PragerU video I saw the other day, and this is what happens when you put transgender people, these transgender story hours, these weird predators that are being put in schools, in public libraries. You do not want these people to have access to your kids. And this PragerU video is going to explain exactly why. So, Chad, if you got that video ready, you can just play it whenever you're ready.
Will do. Let me bring up the volume on the controls here real quick.
All right.
Desktop, bring it up, and we are playing.
I told you that this man recently performed at a Renaissance fair for Ramona Middle School in Laverne, California, for an audience of 7th graders. Allegedly, the on-campus performance was not explicit, but according to parents and teachers, he instructed students to follow him on Instagram, so some of them did. And what they found was a bunch of this. And more pictures and videos talking about fetish. One student dropped a comment saying, "Hell no, don't ever come back to Ramona." The performer then responded, "Ha ha ha ha," or "What do you think you're going to do about it, little boy?" The communication then went back and forth between the parent and the school board and the principal principal actually wanted the student to apologize to the performer, but then retracted it. It's a very messy situation. My biggest question as a mom, how could the school administration not vet this performer's online profiles before hiring him to interact with minors on taxpayer-funded property? Makes you wonder who's showing up on campus at your kid's school.
Ramona, California is where this was.
Ramona.
And yeah, he has a bunch of fetish stuff on his Instagram, and he told all the kids to go follow him on Instagram or subscribe to his Instagram or whatever, and he's clearly into some really weird stuff.
Yeah. So, parents, folks here in Oklahoma, this man told your kids, if this happened here in Oklahoma, if this happened in Owasso, and this man told your kids to follow his Instagram page, that is unbelievably inappropriate, especially with the kind of stuff he has posted on his Instagram page. To him, in his degenerate lifestyle, he thinks this is fine. It's just all in good fun. But that's not something that you want your kids seeing. You don't want them thinking that that's normal. But this is what the left-wing hegemony is pushing. They want that to be normal. They want your kids exposed to sexuality this early. You know, I go back and I look at, it's like all these comparison pictures I see. It's like girls today at 14, and they're all wearing dresses, and they look like they're 23-year-old girls. They look like they are adults. And then it shows like a picture of kids when I was a kid, and like they look like dopey little girls doing dances and videos for themselves, like it's very innocent, very playful. And now you have these 14, 13-year-old girls twerking and putting on really skin-tight, skimpy dresses and performing for TikTok and being like getting their social media following up and running because it's grooming them to become influencers instead of business professionals. So it's just a degenerate lifestyle that stuff like this, like that PragerU video you just watched, like that guy communicated with students, as that woman said in the video, like that kid was like, don't come back. And he was like, it's not up to you, big boy. Like, holy cow. It is not appropriate for an adult to message back a child. But that, again, this guy lives in a world where he probably reaches out to minors and tries to, like, I don't want to talk. No, I'll do it. Like, so the gay community is notorious for this kind of stuff. They reach out to younger kids and they attempt to convert them. Because remember, the left and the gay community don't have kids. They have yours. And they have to convince them or convert them into their lifestyle. So that's just the truth of the matter. I mean, I saw this kind of stuff in college all the time, where they're like, oh, yeah, I turn, like, having conversations with gay folks. Like, they'd be like, oh, I turn them. And you're like, you turn them. And they're shameless about it, too. So it's very strange, and it's like, it's okay for gay people to be like, I turn them. Imagine if I, as a Christian, was like, well, I'm going to turn you straight and turn you into a God-fearing Christian. That's hateful to them. How dare you try to prevent my lifestyle and my choices? Love is love. It's like, no, love from the Christian sense is to duty, to be selfless. It's not about me, me, me. You have a duty to something greater than yourself. And again, the lifestyles that promote homosexuality and promote self-love, like, you are your own God in these communities. It's like, whatever I want, whatever makes me happy is the only thing that's important. Like, that's not the only thing that's important. That's why we see such a lost society right now. People feel meaningless. And they only get meaning from their Instagram followers. They only get meaning from their social status they carry. So that's why we're kind of in this godless culture that we're in right now. People are filling that God gap with themselves or with insert left-wing political rallying point, whether it be Palestine, whether it be Israel, whether it be Ukraine, whether it be the climate. That is the God gap, which I talk about a lot. I know you guys probably get sick of hearing about it, but I mean, it's the truth. So with that being said, I'll push on from just let's not let that happen here in our state and in our town, folks, because we got to hold the line. Again, my fear, though, is we are like the Midwest is only 5 years behind places like California and New York. Always. We're only 5 years behind them. Whatever cultural influence is happening there, it will be here in 5 years. And with the amount of people that are moving here from there, those people are not just coming here. Like, they might hate California, but they're hating the tax code. They're hating that stuff. They're going to bring that culture with them because they're going to think that you're barbaric. So moving on, we'll go to, I guess, the downsides of immigration. So you got this.
Pulling it up now.
Thank you.
All right. Transitioning. There you go.
All right. So why don't you just read that for me? I'm further away, Chad.
All right. A left-wing politician campaigned for the rights of migrants was brutally beaten by a gang of North African men yards away from her own front door in France. And that's a picture of her right there. I don't see her name. I'll have to go find that later.
It doesn't. Her name's irrelevant. She's getting what she voted for.
Exactly.
Show the next picture, though. Uh, what a great that's yeah. I mean, actions meet consequences.
Yeah.
You know, everyone thinks that this is what happens when you teach. What's the phrase? I can't remember the phrase. Diversity is our strength.
Yes.
This is what happens when you have the philosophy that all cultures are equal. All cultures are not equal. Again, we've talked about this before. In the Middle East, they do not value women and children the way we value women and children here in the West. They pretty much view women as property out there. They view children as subhuman there.
Yep.
And don't even get me started on dogs. I mean, I'll tell you this. My buddy who was over there, like, they'll just shoot dogs in the street. Like, right in front of you. They do not care. They do not view life the way we view life. You know, to them, dogs are just animals. To us here in the West, dogs are companions, partners, you know.
Family in a lot of cases.
Yeah, family in some cases. So, if you think all cultures are equal, you are delusional. Delusional.
Yeah. And then going back to what we were talking about before with the whole, gays for Palestine. Like, how about y'all go visit Palestine and see how openly and warmly they treat you?
It's a criminal offense to be openly gay in Palestine. Mm-hmm. A criminal offense. So, again, the chickens for KFC comparison. But yeah, this is what happens. You get what you vote for. This woman advocated for these folks, and these folks do not share her cultures and her values. They view her as just she's someone in their way.
She's a doormat.
She's a doormat, or she's someone for them to get resources off of, someone to rob, someone to punch in the face for their entertainment.
Yeah, for the next TikTok trend.
Yeah. And this is what we're getting imported in this country across the world. We are uniquely situated to where that we are this to them it's a paddle jump. It's a puddle jump to Europe. It's a long puddle jump over here to the US from these people, but they're here. There are a lot of Africans in New York right now. For whatever reason, the NGOs told them to come. And now they're all complaining about the living. It's cold. We don't like the living conditions here. It's too cold. We don't like the food here. We don't like the food we're being provided.
A lot of them all having problems with the snow. They're not used to snow at all.
Yeah, you mean to tell me people from a humid, hot desert environment aren't used to very extremely cold weather? Yeah, ridiculous. But again, this is our problem. It's they were told to come here. Now they're our problem. So it's wild. Wild stuff. And here we are. We're going to have to deal with the repercussions. And this woman's literally proof of living with the repercussions of her mistakes. And she'll sit there, and I guarantee you, people like this, people like her will be like, oh, it's not a mistake. This is just a one-off event. It might be a one-off event, but this is a culture that you imported, and now you're going to have to deal with these repercussions. Period. So, yeah, actions meet consequences. Now, I guess we have one more topic that we were going to talk about today, and honestly, it's this one's even sillier. And it's I don't even know how to go about this. There is a new TikTok trend, or it started last week, and it's a guy going around asking women if you would rather be trapped in the woods with a bear or a man. And this is the kind of culture we live in where women are so delusional that they would rather choose the bear than the man because they have it ingrained in their heads that all men are predators, that all men are going to SA them, sexually assault them. Like they're under this delusion that if they were in the wild and would they rather be with the man or a bear, they're choosing the bear, which is unbelievable. I mean, this goes to show you as a culture how brainwashed a lot of women in our society are.
Yeah. And getting back to it, bears will eat you alive.
Oh, yeah.
There's a story of a woman who had time to call her mom while she was being eaten alive by a bear.
Her mom got to listen to her daughter get eaten over the course of 3 hours. So, I choose the bear. Ladies, you choose the bear. It's nuts, but just watch this interview.
Be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear?
Loading, render.
Bear. Men are scary. With
Man, I don't know what's going on right now. We're having some hard time getting this thing to load.
Might try refreshing it.
Will do.
With a man or a bear?
There you go.
bear. Men are scary. With a bear.
What I've heard about bears, they don't always attack you, right? Unless you like them. So maybe
Man, alive.
a bear.
Depends what man, but probably a bear.
Oh, 100% a bear, which is like terrifying to say, but
Definitely a bear. Some men are very scary out there.
a bear.
I would say a man.
She's not really sure though, but it's still 7-1. Bears
Done?
are winning, and I mean, of course, they are when none of these ladies.
I guess
know
so, if
anything
you
Yeah,
about
pause
them.
it.
Stop it right
Maybe
there.
Stop it.
if-
So
One out of
that's
7 women, and that this guy, now granted, you have to remember these things are, edited and stuff like that, so we don't know how many people he really interviewed or what the answers truly were, because, it's a bunch of just interspliced, videos, but 7 out of, 8 out of 7 out of 8 women chose a bear over being alone in the woods with a guy.
So there are a couple of factors to play into here. You have these are obviously city dwelling women. They don't live out in the woods. So one, you could just attribute it to ignorance. Because the vast majority of people's opinions, watch videos about people out in Yellowstone. There are so many people that just walk up and approach wild animals because they think that it's this magical experience. Like they'll approach caribou. They'll approach wild deer. They'll approach wild buffalo. And they'll go up there and attempt to pet them. And they're wild animals. They do not interact with humans in a friendly way. I mean, I saw a woman get literally headbutted by a bison in Yellowstone because she thought that she was like, oh, I'm going to go out there and pet it. This is going to be a magical moment for me. It's like, there's a guy yelling at her, man, that's a wild animal. Don't go up to it. And they just wave them off like, no, you don't understand. I'm a Disney princess. It's going to love me like Snow White. And then boom, headbutted by like a 1,000-pound bison. Again, so we live in this society where everyone thinks the way PETA thinks. Like, oh, we just need to leave animals in the wild and they'll love us and peace and love and animals don't really harm anything. It's like, no. Bears are terrifying. Bears can open doors. Bears are smart. They're aggressive. And if they're hungry, they will get you. But we live in such a safe society, especially these people that live in cities. They're just so oblivious to the dangers of the world because life is so safe. So when women live in cities, what is the most dangerous thing? It's other people. It's other dudes. So to them, they're getting an over proportional amount of men who they see in the news being charged with assault, being charged with battery. But since they don't live near the woods, they don't view... Basically, people who live in the city think that nature has been conquered. And all the animals, it's like zoo animals. They're like, oh, they're just these cute little things. No. It's dangerous. And wild animals will hurt and kill you. They don't like you. There's a reason they're wild. They live freely. They don't live under... It's not like a pet. It's not like a domesticated animal where you feed them and they expect food to be coming to them. They fend for themselves. They have to fight to survive. But yeah, we live in this society where our culture, the culture of feminism, the culture that feminism has cultivated, has taught women that, yeah, if you were out in the wild, what would you choose, a man or a bear? I choose the bear. Then you choose death. At least a person can be reasoned with. But that's the kind of society we've cultivated, thanks to feminism, thanks to this cultural Marxism idea that man just can't be trusted. I can tell you who I choose. I choose the man. I don't want to be out there with a bear.
Not wrong on that.
Yeah.
Not wrong on that.
It's like it's a Disney thing. It's
Disney princess syndrome is an apt expert.
yeah, this is Disney princess syndrome right here. Every girl wants to be the one that tames the wild with her beauty and charm. But no, this is the real world. People get eaten by bears. So that's just a little bit of culture we wanted to explain to you and just kind of show you the level of ridiculousness that has been cultivated into our society. So with that being said, this is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this was the Morning Loop. God bless y'all and have a wonderful day.
See you later, everybody.